Hey everyone, it's Wingspan. It's been a while since I did a channel update, and as you can see, traffic isn't really moving, so I thought I would catch up and do something I have never really done before, and that's a frequently asked questions. You know, I get a lot of the same questions over and over on my channel. Some of them relate to Eve, some of them relate to me as a person, and I thought I'd address some of these because people are just curious about it, and let's get the answers out there once and for all. So one of the most common questions I get is regarding Eve Online. It's, Wingspan, how do you make ISK in Eve? What do you do to make money in Eve Online? And other than stealing money from my corporation and bilking the people in it, the main way that I make ISK in Eve Online is through referrals. So Eve Online has a referral program that if you get someone else to play Eve, to do a 30-day trial, if that person subscribes to Eve Online, the person who referred them gets a Plex. And as you know, Plex is worth 600 to 900 million ISK in game. Now I put these referral links in articles I write about Eve, in the videos that I make. You'll see, you'll see them in most of my videos. And that's just so if people are watching my videos and haven't tried Eve yet, they can try it out for themselves. And then when they decide to play the game for real, then I get a Plex. And I won't say the exact number, but I have a lot of Plex that has come from getting thousands and thousands of people to try Eve Online. So needless to say, I'm good for ISK as far as Eve goes. If it sounds like a lot of ISK, which it is, I think that's one thing that I would really encourage people who are content creators, who are YouTubers, Twitch streamers, article writers, to get the word out there. I think there's a lot of focus in the Eve media to talk to people who are already playing Eve, but there's not as much focus to kind of get stories and other interesting stuff out there to people who haven't played it yet. And it's very lucrative. So I think that it's a win-win situation where new people who have never heard of Eve, or who maybe have heard of it but have been afraid to try it before, can give it a shot, and then you of course can get rich. And then of course, when people try Eve sometimes and they want to split the reward, the Plex reward, I'm more than happy to do that as long as people can verify that they are actually the person who upgraded their trial. But that's what works for me, and I think it could work for a lot of people who are thinking about making videos or writing articles or anything like that in Eve. Another Eve related question that I get a lot is, Wingspan, can I join your corporation? And that's a little hard to answer because my corporation, we don't have very strict standards, but we still have standards. So what I generally tell people is you are free to apply to my corporation, but at this point I don't personally handle all the recruitment because now that we have over 200 players, some days we'll just get 20 applicants in a day, which is absolutely insane. It's a lot to weed through, so I can't promise that you can join. However, if you meet our requirements, which you can find at torpedodelivery.com/careers, then typically yes, you can join. Unless if you've been our customer before, we may ask you to pay a security fee because some people might get a crazy idea to deliver torpedoes back to us once they join Corp, and that could clearly, pose a problem. Okay, here's one is, what software do you use to make your videos? And that's actually pretty simple. For recording my videos, I typically use NVIDIA Shadow Play, which is actually free software that's made by NVIDIA. Now you need to have an NVIDIA graphics card in order for it to work, and I believe it needs to be a 6 series or higher. But if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, it's free to download. It runs flawlessly. The compression is amazing. If you've been using Fraps or any other program and you end up with these files that are dozens or hundreds of gigabytes, Shadow Play, I've never gotten a recording, even an hour-long recording, it's over maybe 2 gigabytes, maybe 3. So it's just really, really good as far as the compression, the ease of use. It's got the, I guess the Shadow Play feature, which is that it can record retroactively. You can have it recording in the background, so you could set it for any length of time you want. Obviously, it has to cache it to your hard drive, but you could set it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. And then let's say you're playing a game, whatever game it is, and something cool happens, but you weren't recording already. Well, you hit the Shadow Play hotkey, and then it'll go back in time and record the last however many minutes you specified. And just for the record, for anyone who doesn't live in New Jersey, this jug handle thing is terrible. I'm pretty sure I'm about to die, like 85%. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Thank you. This kind for thank you. The other software I use for making videos, for the video editing part, is Adobe Premiere Pro, CS, I don't even remember at this point, and Audacity for audio editing. Now, I haven't really used a lot of other software. These are the kind of the software programs that I personally learned how to edit on, so there may definitely be better solutions out there. I'm familiar with Final Cut, and I'm not really an After Effects guy, as you could probably tell from my videos, but these are really, you know, good programs in order to use to just get it done quickly without being too intensive on my computer. Not that it's a slouch by any means, but you know, definitely when you're putting together tons and tons of files, time and waiting for things to cache and render and all that stuff can add up quick. So I recommend those programs heartily. If you can't get them legally, I guess no one would know if you happen to download it from some illicit software site, but certainly if you can't afford it, I would recommend putting in the time and supporting any software that you can actually afford. And that's true for everything, you know. Fraps for a long time, you know, when I was a broke college student, I may have had an illegal version of Fraps, but once I started making a lot of my YouTube videos, I was like, listen, like the guy who made Fraps deserves the 50 bucks or whatever it is. This guy, just think about how much content out there is due to Fraps. Something I hugely support. Now, when I've made console footage, which I know I don't do super frequently, especially these days, I've used the Elgato Game Capture HD, which is an absolutely beautiful piece of hardware with the included software. It's very powerful and very easy to use. Highly, highly recommended if you are capturing it from a console. And that's all I have to say about that. Another question I get a lot is, Wingspan, why are you obsessed with pi or the number 3.1? I've seen you use 3.1 billion, 31 billion, 31 million, 31 everywhere. What is with that? Well, my real fans, people who have been subscribed to me for a long time would probably know the answer to this, but the real reason is that back when I used to play Team Fortress 2, which is one of the first games, if not the first game that I started making videos about, I was still being a stealthy person and uncloaking and backstabbing people at the time. I held a charity fundraiser that was called the Golden Wrench fundraiser, and I got the Golden Wrench number 31. I ran the fundraiser for 31 days, and we raised $31,000 for the Child's Play charity. I don't really need to go into all the details of it. You can look it up, Golden Wrench charity. If you search on Google, you'll find out a lot about it. But it's a really awesome thing, and ever since that happened, I always considered 31 to be my lucky gaming number. It just felt like, you know, there are aspects of that were due to luck, and aspects of that I chose, and then aspects of that the community working with me put together, especially obviously raising the money. So whenever I'm playing games, I think about the number 31. It just brings a little smile to my face, and that's all there is to it. This is not related to an FAQ at all, but one of the things that's throwing me off in driving around New Jersey lately is that every license plate, the license plate in New Jersey always has some kind of pattern to it. Like for a while it was letter, 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 number, number, number. Fine, that's fine. But for whatever reason, this year in 2015, they changed it so all temporary license plates are, believe it or not, J followed by 6 numbers. So I'm driving around and there's just dozens of cars everywhere. J150636, J224638, like I feel like I'm navigating through wormhole space. I just, everywhere I go, I'm behind a car that's a J sig number. It's absolutely insane. And of course there's lots of drifters here too. So we've got the wormhole space numbers and the drifters. So it's definitely a strange feeling. Okay, one question I get a lot, especially the last couple weeks or the last month or so for some reason, is, Wingspan, will you go back to making Assassin's Creed videos? Will you go back to making Assassin's Creed videos? And I'm only saying it's weird because I don't get a lot of questions about, Wingspan, will you go back to making TF2 videos or Splinter Cell videos or Magic videos? Maybe I just made really shitty videos as far as those games is concerned. But I guess the joking, or not so joking, but the answer I always give to that is, I will be glad to make more Assassin's Creed videos when Ubisoft makes more Assassin's Creed multiplayer games. And as anyone who followed my channel for years knows, is that the millisecond that an Assassin's Creed competitive multiplayer game was out, I was there with, you know, the preload, the pre-order, downloading it, making a video the first day. Wow, that's a nasty pothole. And it's one of my favorite series, if not my favorite, you know, multiplayer gaming experiences of all time. Like, don't get me wrong, all these other games are great, but there's just nothing like Assassin's Creed competitive multiplayer. So all I can really say is whenever I get the chance on Twitter, or when I see people having their petitions to get Assassin's Creed multiplayer back, if I ever talk to anyone who's involved in that, I ask for it. I want to see that. And whatever form that takes, if it means the next Assassin's Creed, if it's called Assassin's Creed Vengeance or Revengeance, Assassin's Creed Another White Guy, whatever they want to call it, that's fine. If it has competitive multiplayer, I'll buy it and I'll make videos and I will enjoy the shit out of it. If they want to create some kind of multiplayer standalone title, like they came up with like Assassin's Creed, you know, Animus Hack, and that was like a game that was more like a single release that got, you know, DLC updates, and it wasn't like a yearly thing. That had a real competitive support. That would be absolutely amazing. I would be all over that, like a chiromancer on spines. But unfortunately, I just don't control that. Now people say, can't you just make more Assassin's Creed 3 or 4 videos or anything like that? And I can, but I think the problem is that, you know, a couple of problems. One is that the audience just really isn't there. I hope people understand that, you know, I was uploading Assassin's Creed videos constantly, but I also started to see, like, after I made 50 videos or however many videos it was, and, you know, maybe it's my 300th Assassin's Creed video, I was getting, you know, fewer than 1,000 views a video on some of them, and I just started wondering, like, is it even worth it? If no one's gonna watch the video, it's really hard to feel like I need to make it. You know, that's, as a content producer, that's something that drives me. You know, it's like, I want to make this video for people to view it, for people to laugh and share it and maybe learn something and start a discussion. And when the community is dropping off or the interest is dropping off, it just becomes hard to sit there and be like, oh, this is definitely worth putting in the hours and hours of work to make a video that, you know, not a lot of people are going to watch. Another thing is that while, you know, I'm definitely good at the game, I'm definitely not the toppest, highest level. Yes, I was the top 100 players in the world at a certain point as far as the game ranking goes. But, you know, I feel like I personally hit a skill cap for how good I was realistically going to get as someone who has like a family and a job and things like that. So I also don't feel that my tips at a certain point will continue to help improve the community. There are a lot of people out there, you know who they are, who are way better than me at Assassin's Creed, who I think if you want to up your game and, you know, become the next level of pro in Assassin's Creed competitive multiplayer, those are the people you should be watching. And of course, the last thing is just that, just like any other person, you know, I have to move on to things. You know, I want to move on with my life. I want to see what other games are out there. You know, if I had only kept playing the same games over and over, I'd still be making Team Fortress 2 videos all these years. And that's not to diss anyone who's making TF2 videos, but after, you know, I've made hundreds of YouTube videos by now, and I'm not gonna get all stuffy like as an artist, but as an artist, you know, I make videos because I have something I want to say, I have something I want to share, and I don't want to be like The Simpsons in its 30th season, or Seinfeld going on way too many seasons. I don't want to make videos just for the sake of making them. I want to make them because I feel like I'm adding to discussion, or improving the community, or getting something unique out there. And once I've kind of, you know, covered all the bases, or once I've said the things I think I need to say, or, you know, seen the change that I want to see, then I feel like it's my job, like I'm a wandering mercenary to move on and help, you know, get to the next village and slay the next monster. And maybe the monster is overpriced DLC, maybe the monster is people don't see the value in stealth in whatever game it is, or you know, whatever that mission or quest is, that's something I need to move on to do. Well, everyone, that just about does it. I think those are the most common questions, at least over the past couple months or past couple weeks, that I see on my channel, on Twitter, on Reddit, or wherever. If you have any general questions for me about myself, my channel, or the things that I do, let me know. I'd be glad to put together another Ask Wingspan, I suppose, kind of video. Until then, I guess I'll see you online. Cheers.